All right, and welcome back for another episode of Carnivore Trades. Today is Wednesday, April 13th, 2022. If you've not done so already, please like, comment, subscribe. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts and analysis. So we have a rally on our hands here today. Bonds did bid up a little bit this morning. The first thing I noticed when I got to my desk today is that the Russell futures were green. Spiders futures, ES was down and the NASDAQ was down, but it was very close to the flat line. So I immediately checked bonds and sure enough, bonds were green. So that told me that tech was likely to get some type of a bid here. And it was also bullish that the Russell was actually holding up pretty well and green. So that did, give me kind of a bullish indicator going into the day. We came up, had a little choppy pattern, and then it kind of broke out here. And now we're squeezing higher. Overall, a nice V-shaped recovery. You see the triple Qs there, nice little V pattern, little pullback in the afternoon, and now pushing up to the highs of yesterday's session. So overall here, let's take a look at the spiders. Actually, I did tweet this out a little bit. I want to show you the hourly. So I said as soon as we get above 441.94, I said 442 actually. We got an hourly close above that. That does open the door for potentially a move to 450. I don't know if that happens tomorrow, but it does open the door for that. You see the same thing there on the 4 hour, so engulfed that. And ultimately, now we're getting a move here to close out the day Wednesday, and we're getting a move in the last 10 minutes as well, or actually last 20 minutes. It's still 3:41 p.m. Anyways, but getting a nice move here. A lot of this is OpEx related, likely. So again, I said yesterday, oftentimes when you get a gap down Monday, Tuesday, it usually results in a reversal into the end of the week for OpEx, and obviously vice versa. So I could see max upside for being up to 450 there. That is where the maximum amount of calls and puts are straddled, although 445 does have quite a few. I haven't checked them in a few hours, but I know 445 has quite a few as well. So that's possible that it gets up there. As far as the triple Qs are concerned, the upside is a little bit more limited, I think. So it does look to me like we're going to get capped at about 350. So that's where the big straddle is. And there's a lot of puts there at 350 that should get burned. So it wouldn't surprise me to close like right below that or right on that area tomorrow. Now I want to show you the weekly candle here. And by the way, yesterday, before we get to that, I said we should get down to 338. Actually, I said on Monday we should get down to 338. We did. That held. So that support area did hold. I thought we would, possibly get a little gap down today to flush out, kind of get that flush so that institutions could soak up shares. Didn't get that. Nonetheless, we got, a move off the lows, but that 338 level held, as did that level on the spiders here, that, 438 area, 436, 438. Ultimately, let's look at the weekly. So if we were to close, green, even just by a little bit, that would be a pretty threatening candle, honestly, all things considered, and kind of give a little bit of weight to what I've been saying the last week or so. Like, this is just a pullback. That's really all it is. I know everybody's bearish and the world sky's falling, but market mechanics matter, and that's all we really care about. And we just care about price action. But this does just look like a pullback to me. And if we were to close in this area here on the weekly, if we were to close up at close to 450 on the spiders, that would be a pretty threatening looking candle. I would not want to be short going into the weekend looking at that. Same thing on the diamond here. Take a look at this pattern. Up move. I mean, what kind of pattern is that, guys? So, you know what kind of pattern that is. So ultimately, I don't really see any problems out here, and that's what I've been saying for the last couple of weeks. And I'm going to continue to say that. You see the diamond there moving up nicely, up 1% today. And the Russell 2000 up as well. And that, again, we talked about this the last couple of days also. In fact, the Russell was bidding up with a market that was supposedly getting slammed so hard, and apparently, supposedly the bears were in control, and there was distribution going on. But why is the Russell green? Well, here we go. So usually the Russell is a leading indicator, and we're just at yesterday's highs right now. So it'll be interesting to see if we can close above that and that 50 moving average. I mean, these are just minor. This is just a minor moving average right now, but it's a good psychological level. And if you close above 201.8. that does move and open the door for a move back up to that 208 area. So just bear that in mind. This is good resistance here, but if you get through that gap window right there by tomorrow, It could suggest there also wants to get up that 2010 or 208, excuse me, 208 210 area, maybe next week. But anyways, overall, let's flip over here, look at a few sectors. So semis are a little bit weaker than you'd expect, still up 2.7%. Haven't gotten above yesterday's high. If that happens again, that opens the door for maybe 257, 260, somewhere in that range. But a nice little recovery on the semis. There's a ton of weekly support in here, by the way. So we got that 100-week moving average. We have that major gap right here also just below. So even if we were to move down, by the way, this is also a failed bearish pattern here. So that is always going to be good support. But even if we were to move down a little bit, I still think the semis, especially given how oversold they already are, they are into pretty good support. So in any case, semis getting a nice move up. And if you can get above yesterday's high, again, 257, 260, somewhere in that range. IGV continues to be a little bit of an outperformer here, up nicely, 2.5%, just under that for the day. And, it's had a much more shallow pullback than a lot of other names. And, again, this isn't a terrible pullback pattern. There's a lot of good things in this space right now. Take a look at Oracle. Nice little pullback holding the 50-day, little reversal, possibly putting in a pivot there. Take a look at Zoom today, powering higher. Basically, depending on where it closes, can be an engulfing candle. It should be an engulfing candle to yesterday. So a big reversal. By the way, I am long this, full disclosure, I am long Zoom, but nice move there. Snowflake hitting that 50% retrace we talked about the other day. That is green as well. I do like a lot of these, these cloud stocks look okay. Cooper Software. This is a nice little bullish pattern here off the lows on Cooper. So a lot of cloud stocks are outperforming a little bit. And yeah, just making note of that. But I like that sector right now. Anyways, let's flip over to transports. So transport's getting a bid again, just like the Russell. I talked about this. We were saying the transports are kind of a leading indicator this market's going to roll over. And over the last couple of days, transports were green in a down market. Triple Qs were down over 2%. I think it was yesterday or the day before, and transports scratched out a gain. So that also showing a bit of a leading indicator. So no surprise we're getting a rally today. Also just oversold in general. That is being helped out obviously by Delta. So Delta reported today, and obviously, market likes that. Take a look at this. Gapping above the 200 moving average. So you gap above resistance and you're going. So gap and go there. And the Jets also liking it. Again, I've been very clear on this. I did like this pullback pattern. Nice little sell-off there and a higher low. So nice move there for the Jets. A little bit more back-end filling. This can continue higher, but obviously earnings season can throw a wrench into that. Anyways, let's take a look here at rates. So 10-year did pull back a little bit. It's not a major pullback. It did come off the lows. 30-year did pull back as well, came off the lows. So maybe it puts in a pivot here. Again, this could be OPEX related. We'll see what it does next week. We'll see what it does going into tomorrow. But overall, the story is rates are overbought. But that doesn't mean they can't go a little bit higher here. HYG, again, another thing I said yesterday. Hey, if this I even said it on Monday. I wasn't convinced that this was a breakdown, and is this this could be a possible fake out here. So we'll see where it closes tomorrow. But a nice little continuation there for HYG, and it's trying to hold on the lowest. So we'll give it the benefit of the doubt for now. Home builders here, XHB was green, but still a very weak sector. Same thing there, ITB, VNQ did pull back into that area, now getting a little pop. So it's trying to hold this green bar low. So nothing terrible there for VNQ. Fins today, XLF here, flattish. Let's take a look at JPM. So they reported earnings today, gapped down, tried to rally back, and then he sold off again, and now you're getting below this this pivot low here. So needs to really close above this pivot low here at 127.27 by tomorrow. Otherwise, it's in trouble. Granted, it is very oversold short term, so I don't think it necessarily breaks down or anything immediately, but definitely a weak look there for Fins. XLF did gap lower though, and it has rallied back to the flat line, so that is a good look there. BlackRock, not a terrible pullback pattern, although this is off the highs as well. They reported earnings today also, and the XBD is nicely green today, basically almost an engulfing candle from yesterday. Morgan Stanley green and Goldman green as well. So again, that little wedge pattern there I was talking about is starting to work out. So you got to move up here, and then a gap down today and rallying back. So if Goldman can consolidate a little bit longer, this can actually push up. So if anybody got in on this, on that little freebie I gave out, the 310 area on Goldman, this could potentially push up if it consolidates a little bit more, but nice move there overall on GS. Anyways, crude here. So this got above this little kind of convergence area. I don't know how major it is. It is about to close above the 20-day moving average. Your bigger level is going to be right around here, 108.75, and then really 113 or so. If it were to get above that, we'll see what it does going into tomorrow. It is OPEX, so we'll really have to see where it closes the week out. XLE. So been noticing this kind of pattern here on XLE. Take a look at the intraday. It gaps up and then you get distribution at, either in the beginning of the day or very early. So this morning we gapped up and you got distribution, and then it's like they kind of let the algos just bid it up. And I've been seeing this pattern here like for the last couple of weeks. So, you got the move down, then it floats up, and then, kind of sideways gap down, some selling, and then it moves back up, and then some selling. And then here you go, gaps up all the way up here, sells off all the way down, a little bit more distribution, then a huge kind of gamma squeeze. So it's kind of repeating this sort of, it looks like almost like a Wyckoff really pattern here. But you're also seeing that rising wedge there on the OIH and the XOP. And I've also shared this monthly chart of the XOP there, right into that 100 moving average. So, again, just be careful with these energy names. They're very overbought. Nat gas is extremely overbought. But, obviously it's holding up. Nothing to say it can't go a little bit higher. But when this comes down, it's going to come down fast and furiously. And, I expect it to get back below $6 on the next correction. But, we'll give it the benefit of the doubt if you own this trail your stop. Anyways, moving on here. Dollar index. So it did finally reverse a little bit. We'll see where it ends the week out. Weekly candle right now does have a little bit of a topping tail. Again, this is a ton of resistance up here. This exceeded my price target a little bit. But overall, I expect that resistance to give it some trouble moving forward. Gold continuing to bid up a little bit, still not above yesterday's high, but it did make a higher high. The bigger level here is 1994.8, or just call it 2000 if you want. GDX here, again, kind of a little rising wedge kind of pattern, but it is making higher highs, so we'll respect it for now. And silver getting above this red bar high, so that is a very good sign there. Still got a lot of resistance at 26.16, but nice move. And SILJ also a nice move, making a higher high now, so potentially breaking through this pennant here. One thing I will caution against, though, if we sell off tomorrow, I would say there's a good chance that we could sell off tomorrow. A lot of the time when you have these wedge patterns, the first break will be a fake out, and it is OPEX week, so just be aware of that. Not saying it happens, but I'd say there's a fair chance, so just be aware of that. But, ultimately, nice little move here, and I've been, pretty dovish on this pattern the last couple of weeks. I've been talking about it. So nice move there for silver. Platinum getting a bid. Palladium also getting a bid. Actually, no, palladium negative now. Overall, nothing really to do with these patterns. Copper trying to flag up. Still trying to flag on the weekly, but I don't see any issues with it at the moment. Let's flip over to Bitcoin. So I did kind of change up. There we go. So I did change this trend line a little bit. So yesterday I had it kind of running from here to here, and I changed it because typically when I draw a trend line, I want it to go through wherever that has the most hits. That's kind of where that's where price is respecting the most. So I changed that from here to here, and I think that we're actually getting a good reaction off of that. So I think that was a good change. Bitcoin trying to pop up here. It's got to get above 42,441. If it can do that and close above that on a daily time frame, it can get back up to about 46,000. And then we'll see from there. But overall, it's trying to hold up. Ether, same thing. It's holding that 50 moving average. But again, you got to get above that red bar high there, 32.15. So those are your levels there on the coins. Doge, same thing. This high here, you're going to see the same pattern across the board. But the high from 2 days ago is what you want to watch here on the coins. But overall, they're holding up. And when I see that happen, I usually take it as a positive for the equity markets in general. All right, so spiders here. Let's take a look on the daily. So holding up, coming off the highs, no surprise, hitting that 200 moving average there. Same thing with the triple Qs. And of course, there's going to be a little bit of selling. Anybody that was day trading here is probably going to dump into the close a little bit. So not anything out of the ordinary there. Anyways, guys, we'll see what we get tomorrow. We'll see if we got a pivot low in place. And then if we do, I think we can possibly move up, going into next week. But we'll take it one day at a time, as always. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com, and I will see you all tomorrow.